Great. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar. I really appreciate it. We're going to talk all about river cruising. And so on the call with us today is Brandon Oscarson from Alma Waterways and Sherry Griffiths from Cruise Tips TV. And of course, I'm Heather Sullivan. I'm a river cruise vacation specialist with Dream Vacations. And I'm your host for this evening. Hopefully this is the first of many Zoom meetings. So if there's any technical difficulties, please, we ask that you just bear with us. So my love for travel began at a very young age. My family enjoyed traveling from coast to coast all over the US and Hawaii. We continued that passion with my husband and then my grown children. And so we all enjoy traveling together. Last spring, I was fortunate enough to sail on Alma Waterways and going down the Danube River. And I just truly fell in love with river cruising. They carefully handpick excursions. They showcase a rich diversity. Places that you visit, they're just amazing. We had an incredible opportunity to see a winemaker, and not only did we get to see him, we saw his vineyard, we got to go into his tasting room, and he just shared stories about him and his family, and it was just one of the most amazing experiences. And I'm just really passionate about river cruising because it's small, intimate groups that, you know, we share a fascination with a particular area of interest, and one of them is like the Danube River. Let's see. Traveling, like when you travel, you explore the world. It opens up your eyes to experiences and like authentic cuisines and customs, and just you get the flavors of the local areas. And I just love that. So if you're like me and are well-traveled, or if it's your very first time cruising, Sherry Griffiths is known for her fabulous tips. She has a very large following on social media platforms. Sherry and her family live in California. She provides practical tips and advice to new and seasoned cruisers. She has visited many destinations like Japan and Mexico, Alaska, Europe, and even the Caribbean. She's, cruised about 33 cruises and on 6 different cruise lines. What's amazing is she's been one of the top 10 travel influencers in both 2018 and 19 by Porthole Cruise magazine. Her YouTube channel, her Cruise Tips TV, has over 15 million views. So Sherry, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Heather and Brandon. Can everybody hear me okay? Give me a nod, yeah? Good? Awesome. It is really a treat and an unexpected surprise to see so many familiar faces here. Well, usually their names on the screen, but I'm getting the pleasure of seeing Nancy and Travis Chow and Vernon and Angelique and Susan and a few others who have unmuted. I see Mary Ellen there. And there's someone down at the bottom here. I can't quite see the name, but it's really a wonderful treat to see all of your faces. So thank you so much for joining us. I have to admit that I am very, very new to river cruising. I've never been on a river cruise. So this is a real treat for me today to have Brandon here, who Brandon is going to give us kind of an exclusive sneak peek into the world of cruising the Danube with Alma Waterways. And Heather, for those of you who don't know how we all got connected here, I want to take just a moment to explain that because the connection is actually really, really exciting and important. So Heather works for Montebello Dream Vacations, and Heather takes excellent care of most of the folks that we refer to Dream Vacations, which is our partner travel agency. Since I don't have time to sell travel myself, we wanted to partner with an agency who could take excellent care. So if you're here today, you actually get to see the person who takes care of many of our community members when they're booking a cruise. And our community books all types of different cruises with Heather. We have had some folks book river cruises, so we thought, it sounds like there's an interest here that's getting louder and louder. And so Heather coordinated with Brandon to give us a beautiful visual. Now, I'm told that Brandon normally does this stuff in person, right, Brandon?
I do. Yes, a lot.
Live audiences. So these are usually live audience presentations, but obviously right now we're all kind of sheltering at home, at least in some states. In California, we're kind of slowly getting back out there. But we're very, very excited to welcome Brandon today. And Heather, I just want to thank you so much for coordinating this. And I know many of you are going to ask, is there a group cruise happening on the river? And I do want to let you all know that Heather is putting together a group cruise, Christmas Markets group cruise. It's next year, right, Heather? It's 2021 group?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So at this moment, it is not scheduled to be a Cruise Tips TV group cruise. I can't book anything that far in advance with everything that's been going on lately. We just don't know our schedule. You never know. We could end up joining the group, but there will be, Heather is putting together a group. So let's turn it over to Brandon. And again, I just want to say hello to everybody and thank you for turning on your cameras so I can see your faces. I see you, Vernon and Liberty Cruiser too. I know you popped in there. And I've got somebody down here on the bottom I just can't see, but we'll figure it out later. I didn't catch your name. You let me know later. But Brandon, bring us into this beautiful world of the Danube. I'm going to mute myself here so I can sip on my rosé while you give us the visual.
I should have made myself a cocktail.
I know. Next time. We're doing this again in 2 weeks, right? And which one are we talking about? Is that a surprise for later?
What are we talking about? You know, I have to admit, I'm doing so many webinars. I'm doing up to 5 of these a day right now.
My goodness.
For me to think about what's a week or 2 ahead, I would have to look at my calendar. Do you remember, Heather, what we're doing in a couple of weeks?
We're talking about the Nile River.
Oh,
that's what I thought. Egypt and the Nile.
I'm going to briefly talk about Egypt at the end of this, but I will tell you, so up until the first week of March, I was on the road and I was doing presentations 7 days a week. At the beginning of this year, I literally had 1 day off in about almost a 3-month period. So every time I would say Egypt, the room would go, ooh. And once I saw the ship that we're building and the images of what the interior is going to look like and the itinerary, it blew my mind. So I'm excited to talk about it. But now let's talk about Alma. I love to talk about Alma. I've been with the company for 8 years. I've been on 11 cruises. They make me go every year, sometimes twice a year. I am taking sympathy cards if you want to send them. No, I'm kidding. I love it. I love what I do. I'm so fortunate to work for an amazing company that I'm very passionate about. And part of what makes them so amazing is they do so much in this industry to set themselves apart on very high levels. And one of the ways we set ourselves apart begins with your cruise managers. Now, when you go on a river cruise, you're going to tie it in with some sort of land package. Like if you take my romantic Danube itinerary, you're going to start off at 3 nights in Prague. Then you're going to take your 7-night cruise, Vilshofen into Budapest. And with our cruise managers, we actually have them on the cruise and land. This is unique in the industry. Everybody else has a tour guide on the land and a cruise manager on the cruise. Well, with us, when you arrive at the hotel, your first point of contact is your cruise manager. They have a welcome desk. You go and you meet them. They're there every day. They take you on a city tour. They also want to make sure you make the most of your time while you're there. So if you want to know the best places to eat and the sights to see, that is the person to go to. And again, they cruise with you, and as you're getting off the ship, they're usually the last person to bid you farewell, especially if you're the couple that booked the 6 a.m. flight and you're leaving us at 2 in the morning. Yes, it happens quite often. So cruise managers are wonderful. You definitely want to connect with them, and it makes such an incredible experience to have that one person take care of you from the first to the last day. So here we are looking at a map of all of the destinations we cruise around the world. As you can see, our primary focus is going to be in Europe. Now we also cruise the Mekong Delta through Vietnam and Cambodia. We cruise the Chobe River in Africa. And as we've already stated, we are going to start sailing in Egypt in September of next year.
Brandon, are you able to share your screen because we're still seeing you?
I am sharing my screen. It's not showing. None of what I just said was up for you guys?
Yeah.
No. Oh, was it up for you?
I
Oh,
saw it.
interesting.
We
Oh,
can
okay.
see it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So interesting. Okay, maybe I have a different view. I apologize.
Well, hold
Okay.
on. Let me try something really quickly. I want to make sure that everybody can see me. They should be able to see this.
Heather, go to speaker view in the top right.
Oh, that's probably what it was. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
All right, so everyone else is good. Can I see some thumbs up? Yay. All right, yay. Okay, moving on.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Here I have a list of all of my ships that are currently in operation. Now, one of the things I like to share, especially with the uncertainty in the world, is the certainty we have at Alma Waterways. We are a debt-free company, meaning every ship we have ever put on the water was paid for with cash while it was being built, so that by the time it hit the water, we had no debt. We don't owe the banks any money. So all of these are our personal assets. Above and beyond that, the president of our company back in 2018 decided, you know, lots of crazy things happen in this world. We've seen volcanoes in Europe. We've seen some terrorist attacks. We've seen low water levels. We've seen all kinds of stuff. So we wanted to put ourselves in a position where if for some reason we had to take ourselves off the waters for a year, that we would be okay. So we put a savings together so we could be prepared for this. Not that any of us are really prepared for this, but financially, we are in a good place. So if you book a trip with us, we are absolutely going to be there to take that sailing with you. You're square. Just a couple of housekeeping items with the COVID-19 that has come about. And I touch on these because I know we're all kind of wondering what's going to happen when we get back on the waters. Well, most immediately, once we start sailing in August, we know that our pre-cruise registration will become mandatory because we need to know where all of our guests are coming from before they get on board. We want to know that you're safe and everybody else on board is safe as well. We are putting more sanitation stations around. So we have hand sanitizer all over the vessels, but we're going to put more because we want you to feel safe while you're on board. On top of that, with food service, buffet is a thing of the past. And that's probably going to be a permanent change just because we understand that the world has changed because of this and safety measures need to be in place. So we will eliminate buffets. And this morning I found out something very interesting. When we start sailing this year, we will not be able to operate at full capacity. So our dining room, we're removing some of the tables and some of the chairs so that in the main dining room, you can have that space and feel more comfortable. Also, we have a dining area on the sun deck for our staff. And we're going to open that up for our guests. Usually our staff goes back there and they hang out and have their lunches, things like that. Well, we're going to open it up so that our guests have one more place to spread out. So again, we're doing a lot to make sure you feel safe and comfortable while you travel with us. Last thing I'll mention, we are making sure that the hotels we use are also following guidelines where when you arrive, you don't have to worry. All you need to do is enjoy your vacation. Now I'm going to mention one more thing about this, COVID-19, and then we will move on to all of the wonderful things we want to hear about. Alma Waterways has its own insurance policy called Travel Waiver Plus. If you have cruised with us before or made a booking with us in the past, you've maybe heard it called our worry-free travel insurance. Now, this policy allows you to move your sailing without any penalty. You do have to purchase it, and in the past, you could only purchase it if you were buying our travel guard insurance at that very moment. Once you said no to it, you couldn't go back and say, oh, I'd like to add that. Well, right now, we have a policy where you can purchase this without our travel guard insurance at $175 per person. If you have our travel guard insurance and you happen to forget to add this on, you can call in now and you can add it for $80 per person. The reason we've done this is we want you to feel comfortable. And if for some reason the sailing you pick, you decide that you're not ready to travel yet for whatever reason, you can move that sailing without any penalties. Let's talk fun stuff. I'm ready to talk about fun things now. Okay, so the president of our company, Rudy Schreiner, he is the innovator of this industry. And we did not decide that he was, everybody else did. As a matter of fact, the industry, they call him the godfather of river cruising. So Rudy is an architect by trade. He does have his hand in designing all of our ships. And to give you an idea of why he's considered the innovator, he was the very first person to put French balconies on river cruise vessels. He was also the first person to put full balconies on river cruise vessels. Now, Rudy's newest innovation just hit the waters May of last year. It is our Alma Magna. Now, this ship is the creme de la creme of river cruising. With all the cruises I've been on, I was able to cruise on this in October of last year and for our sales conference in January of this year. And I will tell you, river cruising is amazing. All of our ships are incredible, but this one, it truly is a unique and unbelievable experience. We doubled the width of the ship. Nobody else does this. There's a lot of reasons for it, but we were able to make it work perfectly, and it only fits on the Danube because it's so large. So when we doubled the width, we did not double our occupancy. We only added 40 guests. We wanted to give you the luxury of space. And on top of that, if you've been ocean cruising for many years and you've never been on a river cruise and you're wondering, well, there's not that many amenities. The staterooms are maybe a little smaller than I'd like. Well, the Alma Magna checks all those boxes and eliminates any doubt about getting on an incredible ship that has the amenities that you're looking for. Now, we have 4 dining venues and we have tons of spaces to spread out and relax. What we're looking at right here, right now, these are quite simply mostly lounging places, different areas on the ship where our guests can spread out and relax. At the top in the middle, we have our Zen Wellness Studio. It's a juice bar and a fitness center. The fitness center is on the other side of the glass there. The hallways on the Alma Magna, I have been told, are wider than ocean cruise hallways. I apologize, I haven't been on an ocean cruise since 1996. It's been a minute. And every time my wife wants to go on an ocean cruise now, I'm like, but river cruising. She's like, you're right. We get spoiled. Let's go on a river cruise. So I had mentioned multiple dining venues. The Alma Magna does have 4 dining rooms. The main dining room, which I don't have pictured here, very large, very spacious. Again, room for everyone to spread out. But on top of that, we have specialty dining options that are included. You don't pay for these. These are included with your cruise. On the upper right-hand side, we are looking at our chef's table. This is a set menu from the first to the last day, and you have an open kitchen that's part of the dining area, so you can talk to the chef while they're preparing your meal. Just below that is Jimmy's Wine Bar. Now, we named this after Jimmy Murphy. Jimmy Murphy, he used to be the owner of a company called Brendan Tours Worldwide. He happened to sell it right before Rudy started up Alma Waterways, and they were good friends. Rudy went to him and said, you love river cruising, and you have a lot of money burning a hole in your pocket. Let's build some ships. And he was right. Jimmy loved river cruising. His son, Gary, is now the senior vice president of sales. But since Jimmy is no longer with us, we wanted to dedicate this beautiful, wonderful dining experience, which is unique from the other dining experiences on board. Then in the middle at the bottom, that is our Alfresco Dining. This is a 7-course meal. Now, when I say 7-course, everything is small. European style small, so that you can fit it all in because you want to try everything. It's amazing. What I love about this also is you have those windows at the front of the ship. During the summertime, we can drop those down, let fresh air in. And I know that you can see it a little bit, but at the top there's glass windows that we can open up during the summertime as well. Gift shop. Huge, stunning, beautiful location, gifts from all the places we cruise along the Danube. And then we even have a cinema on board the Alma Magna. Staterooms average 355 square feet, but they start off at 205 square feet. So you have very large, spacious staterooms with balconies. Our grand suites, we've done something unique for us here. Since this vessel is so wide, we're able to face the beds towards the window. Now, we don't typically do that, even though we get a lot of requests for beds facing windows. it's really hard to have a good flow of a stateroom when you do that on a standard vessel. So we've always been opposed to it. But with this ship, you have this great option, and you have the TV that drops in and out of that cabinet right there with the touch of remote control. Now, what's really funny is that I know the vision here is waking up in the morning and having the curtains open and seeing the beautiful scenery along the river. Well, I'll share a story with you because this is funny. Now, you close your curtains at night on a river cruise, because mooring or rafting, whatever term you use, is part of the business. You have ships that come along next to you. And the story I have was from my very first cruise. Back in 2013, the cruise manager was telling me on his first cruise that he was the cruise manager on, he forgot to tell guests to close their curtains at night. And unfortunately, we had a guest who slept in the nude, who woke up yawning and stretching just to open his eyes to look at the people standing 10 feet away from him, waving good morning. So, we always strongly encourage you, no matter where we are in the river, close your curtains at night. It's very important. Now with the Alma Magna, if you're an ocean cruise seller and you like those big suites, we've got an owner's suite, 710 square feet. Now, my marketing has done a great job sending me different shots of the living area and the fully stocked bar. What they did not send me is the separate bedroom and the fact that it has 2 bathrooms and a walk-in closet. So this, again, it checks all those boxes if you love ocean cruising, and part of the reason you've been reluctant to river cruise, maybe amenities or stateroom sizes, we want to help you get on board. And in October, when I cruised on the Alma Magna, I will tell you that majority of the people on board were experiencing their very first river cruise. And I don't hide that I work for the company. I like to connect with people. I like to share my experiences. And it was really neat because people kept coming to me so excited that they'd had such an amazing time. They couldn't wait to go on another river. It just didn't matter what ship it was, because the Alma experience is what really caught them and brought them in. Now, speaking of the Alma Magna, Heather does have group space taken out for our Christmas markets on the Danube for December 8th of next year. There are some incredible savings. When I looked at this, I couldn't believe how much was really packed in here. So you have $2,000 per stateroom savings. That's part of a promotion we're running. On top of that, there's $100 per person shipboard credit, complimentary category upgrade. And since Heather is putting this together as a group, there's an additional $250 per person discount. This is unheard of, and a lot of it has to do with what's happening in the world today. We can do these great promotions because it's a great incentive for you to come and have a trip with us. Now, I will tell you, my favorite European experience I have ever had was Christmas markets. During the Christmas markets, Europe turns into a fairy tale land. You have the most amazing foods, hot spiced glühwein, beautiful Christmas ornaments, and on top of that, look at how wonderfully lit all of the towns are. It is truly spectacular. Now, I don't like to give away everything because I want to leave a little to the imagination, but there are some peak highlights cruising the Danube that are almost a must to learn a little bit about. Now, we do have our pre-extension that is optional for Prague. I will tell you, if I'm going to do the Danube, I am always going to want to start in Prague. Part of that is you arrive in Prague and you're jet lagged. Prague is a sleepy city. People don't wake up early to get started, but once they get going, it's a very busy city. So if you want to go out and explore Charles Bridge and walk around town, if you happen to be a photographer, you can go out and get some beautiful shots early in the morning. And it's funny because my wife and I would wake up around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and we were wide awake. And we realized that this was the time to go out because people in Prague start to move around 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we're able to go out and see some of these beautiful, beautiful places. Now on the bottom right, that's Charles Bridge. What was really neat in the morning is we saw a lot of brides from Asia, and their dresses that were probably $20,000, $30,000. Their dresses were just stunningly beautiful, and they had professional photographers out on the bridge with them. But again, it was quiet and it was nice to explore. Even when it got busy, it was fun. But I'm actually a photographer, and I love to get out and get scenic shots. Every one of these pictures here is something that I have taken. Another stop along the way, and this is another one of the big highlights, is a stop in Salzburg. So Salzburg, obviously we all know the Sound of Music comes from here, and you do get to see where that was filmed. This is the home of Mozart. Mozart, my favorite composer, and actually growing up, my grandmother raised me and all my cousins to be Mozart fans first and foremost. We were raised on classical music. So this place just happens to be very special to me. But again, it's a very scenic place. Now the picture on the upper left with the ball looking up towards the hill, off to the side there, you do have the first private brewery ever owned in Austria. Now, if you take our full day excursion to Salzburg, which I strongly encourage, you will have plenty of free time to explore and do your own thing. You want to go up into that privately owned brewery. And if you're not a drinker, that's okay. They have wonderful foods, incredible desserts, and it's an absolutely amazing experience. Now, one of my favorite things to go and see while I'm there, and it's kind of strange, but it's so beautiful. On the bottom left, that's a cemetery. And it's the most beautiful cemetery I have ever seen anywhere. Matter of fact, the first time I saw it was back in 2013, and I couldn't wait to go back. I saw it again just a couple of years ago, and I was really excited to just get back to Salzburg. Another one of the big cities we visit along the way is Vienna. Vienna, obviously, very picturesque, beautiful city. You have the Schönbrunn Palace, the home of Marie Antoinette. If you're a foodie, this is definitely a foodie place because you have incredible pastries. The Viennese coffees are probably some of the best I've had anywhere in the world. They really take pride in all kinds of unique specialty coffee drinks. But what's really interesting about Austria and being in Vienna, Austria does not really export their wines. And they have some of the most delicious wines that you will ever taste. Absolutely incredible. And the only place you're really going to find them is in Austria. So when you're in Vienna, you have a lot of options available to you. In the morning, you have 5 different excursions to choose from that are all included. Now, this is the only city that we have optional tours available in, meaning you would have to purchase them because it's more of a concierge service that we've put together. In the afternoon, we do offer a trip to the Schönbrunn Palace. This is where Marie Antoinette grew up. And what's really neat is there's this giant, beautiful painting on the wall of Marie Antoinette watching a 6-year-old Mozart perform in the palace, which was something that happened. And then the other optional tour is a Mozart and Strauss concert in the evening. Now, again, I did grow up on classical music. I am a fan. I have seen symphonies all over the country. One of my clients used to run the Hollywood Bowl. She used to seat all the musicians there, so I was able to go frequently. And I will tell you, in Vienna, musicians play on a level that I have never heard anywhere else. So when you take this trip, make sure you take that optional excursion. It's absolutely incredible.
Vienna, immersion tours.
Now, one of the little hidden gems along the way, and I'm sure that none of you have been like, let's go visit Bratislava. Bratislava is a hidden gem along the way. Beautiful town. It's a melting pot of cultures. And as soon as you walk off the ship and you are in the town center, it is right there. So when you get in, you realize that it's a melting pot of culture. Now, some of the things I'm going to point out here in the middle on the bottom, they call him the local peeping Tom because he's a worker looking out of the manhole, and they call him the peeping Tom. But you see how shiny the top of his head is? Well, the locals believe it's good luck to rub the top of his cap. So the higher up you get on his cap, the shinier it gets. Something else that I thought was really neat about Bratislava, the arrow pointing at the little ball on the building there on the right, that's a cannonball. So during World War II, if you had a cannonball in your building, the government would give you money to help you repair it. So the locals would go out and find a cannonball and put it in the side of their building. And some have just left it there for historical purposes, but it's kind of neat when you're walking through town. This is one of the places where you will get quite a bit of free time. Definitely go out and explore, and you'll look and you'll see that some of the buildings, that there are cannonballs there, but none of them are from the war. All of them were put there by the people who lived there at the time to get a little bit of the government money. See, people have been doing that for a long time, right? Now, Budapest is another one of my favorite places in Europe. Budapest, again, I like talking about foodies because I'm a foodie, and I have learned after traveling that most people who travel have a little bit of a foodie inside of them. Beautiful places to go and visit. Bottom right, we have Hero Square. Up above that, you have the Chain Bridge, the Parliament. If you've never had Hungarian goulash, this is obviously the place to get it. And I'll just share with you, in the marketplace, I went to get some Hungarian goulash, and on the table, I saw a recipe. That's right there on the bottom left. I took a picture of it. I came home and I cooked it in my Instant Pot, and it was a hit. I've had to give this recipe to many, many people. They've all tried it and they absolutely love it. So Budapest, again, is one of the beautiful and incredible places that we visit along the way. Now, talking about Heather's group, the Christmas markets, it's very interesting because historically, Prague and Budapest did not have Christmas markets, but it brings so much tourism to Europe that Prague, it has now one of the most beautiful Christmas markets in all of Europe, and Budapest has multiple Christmas markets spread out all throughout the town. All right, we're going to move into my twin balcony stateroom vessels. What we're looking at here is an entry-level stateroom. This would be 160 square feet with large picture windows on the top of the stateroom. Here we are looking at a French balcony stateroom. So this one is 170 square feet. You have sliding glass doors, floor to ceiling. That's a rail right there. We serve a lot of complimentary alcoholic beverages. We want to keep you on the boat, so we put a rail there to make sure you don't fall into the river. But we also put a table and chairs there so that you can feel like you're sitting outside while you're getting all that nice fresh air in. Now, as I'm going through these slides, you're going to see different styles of decor. I very intentionally have selected different vessels to take pictures from because I like to show that we use very warm and inviting colors on all of our ships. Now, I'm sure some of you were wondering when I said twin balcony staterooms, what's a twin balcony? We're looking at a twin balcony right now. On your right-hand side, you have a French balcony area. Again, table and chairs right there. On the left side, you have your own private veranda from within your stateroom. So if you want to get up in the morning, go outside, have a cup of coffee, and sit and watch the river, you can do that. Or if you want to go out and have a glass of wine, you can do that as well. So we are able to accommodate quads in our suites. They are 350 square feet. However, Alma Waterways will never put 4 people in a stateroom. We are partnered with Adventures by Disney, and they do full ship charters. So you would have to book a Disney cruise to actually go on it. But they will put families of 4 in these staterooms. That's a queen size pull-out bed right there. Another request that Disney made was connecting staterooms. Now I have to tell you, when I started with Alma Waterways, I actually started on the phones in our reservations department. I spent 3.5 years there. And when I saw connecting staterooms for families, I had one of those moments where I chuckled for just a moment, because whenever I would take a call from someone booking for their family, they're like, put me in this room and put my mom and dad on the other side of the room, of the ship. So they always want to be on the opposite side of the ship from one another. Well, with Disney, the families want to be together. So I get it. It makes sense. Lots of big families traveling together. But I will tell you, it's amazing to me how many friends travel together that love to have this connecting stateroom, that they can just slide it open and be connected with their friends right next door to them. Now in the river cruise industry, we have the fastest Wi-Fi that you can find. We're the only company that has invested in a 4G network on all of our European vessels. And the reason nobody else is willing to do this is the cost. The cost to put the towers on the ship, but above and beyond that, the annual cost to run Wi-Fi through a 4G network. And to give you an idea, once we did this was 2016. we very quickly realized that our Wi-Fi in Europe would cost more than our fuel for our fleet around the world. But we understand where our guests are coming from. We know that you're used to fast internet speeds. We know that you also mostly have smartphones and tablets. So when you go on your excursions, you're going to take a lot of beautiful pictures. When you get back on the ship, you don't want to wait to share that with your friends and family. So we make the process as seamless as possible. It's very easy to get online and share your friends and family with your friends and family in real time. Now, for our guests who still have a flip phone, we do have a computer in every stateroom. It's an iMac. If you're not familiar with an iMac, that's perfectly okay. What you're looking at right here is your interface. You click on one button, you have access to some TV shows. Another button, classic film and newly released films. We also have a very wide selection of music. And when we're in port, we do have access to satellite television. Mostly what comes through is going to be world news. So if you want to ruin your vacation, you can sit in your room and watch the world news from the privacy of your stateroom, I should say. Now, we do want to bring the cultures of the areas that we're cruising through on board for you. And one of the most amazing ways is through song and dance. So in the evenings after dinner, we bring local singers, dancers, and musicians on board to perform for our guests. Now, Alma Waterways is the highest rated river cruise line in all of Europe. And I'll touch on that a little bit later, but I'll tell you one of the areas where we are highest rated, where we truly fall second to nobody, it's our dining experience. We're members of Le Champ de Rotisserie. They are the most prestigious culinary organization in the world, and membership is by invitation only. Now, we do offer our guests 2 separate dining venues. This is unique to us. Nobody else is doing well, I take that back. Someone else just started doing it last year. It was unique to us. At the front of the ship, we have our main dining room. This is where our guests have cuisine from the areas we're cruising through for your lunch and dinner. Breakfast is going to be very standard breakfast options. At the aft of our ship, we have our chef's table. Again, this is a specialty dining venue. There's no charge for it. On our other vessels, other than the Alma Magna, there is a glass partition between the kitchen and the dining room, and it's a European style tasting. So you don't even look at a menu once you're seated here. We bring you 3 small hors d'oeuvres, followed by champagne with sorbet soaking in it. Moving on to 2 small entrees, followed by 3 small desserts, and we pair this with 3 different wines throughout the evening. I will tell you, this is most of our guests' favorite dining experience while they're on board. Now, we are not all-inclusive, but we do have a really good setup for our drinks. We offer a complimentary, free-flowing soda, beer, and wine with your lunch and dinner. The wines we serve come from the regions that we cruise through. Again, we want to bring those cultural experiences on board for you. And in the morning, we offer complimentary sparkling wine. If you're in France, it's going to be complimentary champagne. In the morning, we also have complimentary juices. 24/7, you'll find complimentary coffee, specialty coffee drinks, and tea. 24/7, bottled water replenished to your room 24/7. And when you're getting off the ship to go on an excursion, we'll give you a bottle of water. When you're coming back on the ships from your excursions, we're going to give you a hot or cold drink depending on what the weather is like outside. Now, speaking of bottles of water, it brings me to something that I'm actually very proud of. Alma Waterways was just awarded a green award for all of our European vessels. And we are actually the only river cruise line to receive this award. And we realize that river cruising is a growing industry and that we need to do our part in making it more sustainable. So what we've done is we've gotten rid of single-use plastic with our water bottles. In your room, we give you a glass bottle of water. When you're going on your excursions, we're going to give you a box of water. Now, I know box of water sounds kind of weird, but oddly enough, I'm a water snob. I don't drink certain types of water. It's strange, but I like the box of water. It's really good. The other thing that we do is we have put LED lighting on all of our ship. It's very low energy, easy to run, they last forever. And what's really neat, talking about that, We redesigned all of our ships a couple of years ago. When you walk into your room, you have an iPad mounted to the wall. You can control your air conditioning and your lighting. You have little sliders to adjust how bright or dim the light is. And it even has a few preset mood lighting options in there. Now, this very same system is in a tablet that sits right next to your bed. So when you go to bed at night, when you want to turn off the lights, you don't have to walk across the room to flip a switch. You push a button on the tablet and the room goes dark. So again, we're doing everything we can to make this industry more sustainable and do our part in the world, and it's really exciting. Now, Alma Waterways does have a complimentary cocktail hour each evening. It's our sip and sail hour. This is an amazing opportunity to get up into the lounge, socialize with the other guests on board. Now, I've been on many cruises, and I will tell you, I've never sailed with more than 145 people. And as you can probably tell by now, I'm slightly social. I usually know everybody on board, the story of their families and their jobs, all kinds of stuff, but that's just how I am. But I will tell you that river cruising is like that. You will make a lot of new friends, and this cocktail hour is a great opportunity to get up there and meet new people. It's also a really great opportunity for our cruise manager to take 10 minutes of your time and let you know the details of what's in store for the next day. Now, for our guests who have dietary restrictions, every meal is prepared to order. So it doesn't matter what your dietary restriction is, we've got you covered. Gluten-free, dairy-free, low sodium, diabetic meals. I met a woman with 33 food allergies who only travels with us now because not only is her food safe to eat, but she said it's always delicious. And that is true. It is always delicious. We offer a detox water of the day as well. It changes daily. Now, I like this a lot. I'm a certified health coach. I will tell you, this actually helps support your immune system. It's self-serve. We keep it at the corner of the bar. So while you're traveling with this, definitely drink some. You're jet lagged, your immune system is slightly compromised. Little things can make big differences. And you'll find on our ships, there's a lot of little things to help make those differences. Now, I do make one comparison between us and a competitor. I'll be professional and I won't say their name, but it rhymes with hiking. I'm sure you can figure out exactly what I'm talking about. The only reason I use them as a comparison is I'm pretty sure you know the number one question I am constantly asked. What's the difference between you and them? So just to give you a few statistics, our ships are the exact same size as a long ship. They put 196 people on board. We put 156 people on board. We have larger staterooms on average, more amenities, but more importantly, it's your common area space. With us, every one of our guests, when they go to their cruise manager meetings, social time, whenever you're not in your stateroom, you will have a comfortable couch, chair, even a plush bar stool to sit and relax on. It never gets down to standing room only. We even put a library on all of our ships starting in 2010. Now, I do have a library story. At the back of the library, that's the lounge. So they're right next to each other. We used to keep board games in the library. But one night we had an opera singer performing in the lounge and a very heated game of Yahtzee in the library. So board games disappeared the next day on all of the ships. I think you find chess and checkers in there, actually. Now, when I say more amenities, we really do have more amenities than anybody because the space we're using to put them is where you would put staterooms typically, put more beds, more people to bed at night. So we have a fitness center. If you like to keep up with the fitness regimen while you're traveling, we have a state-of-the-art cable resistance training system where you can do everything you would do if you were to go to a fitness center. We also have state-of-the-art cardio equipment. We offer spa services on board. If you like to get a massage while you're cruising, we can take care of that. There's even a salon if you want to get your hair fixed. If you're going to go to the Mozart and Strauss concert in the evening, you may want to have one of our stylists take care of you and get your hair done very nicely. Now, again, something unique with us is we do have a pool on our sun deck. Couple things I like to point out about that pool. That's a wind guard going around it. There is always a scenic valley we cruise during the day at one point during each of our cruises. some of our guests like to swim during that time. So there's a little bit of wind, but not for them. They're nice and comfortable. If the wind guard isn't doing its job, that is a bartender in a swim-up bar. He will serve you drinks and keep you warm and comfortable as well. Now, Alma Waterways also has a wellness program complimentary on all of our ships, except for in Africa. We're not able to do it there. But what's really cool about this, we have a class at 7 a.m. and 7:30, and it's either yoga, resistance band training, core training, maybe just some light stretching or Tai Chi. But these are all included, again, 7 and 7:30. And what's funny for me is I've been on a few cruises where I hear people talking. I'm on vacation. No way I'm going to work out at 7 or 7:30 in the morning. You're not going to get me up. I'm traveling. I'm having fun. That very same person hears the announcement on the loudspeaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me tomorrow morning for champagne yoga at 7:30. Everybody shows up for champagne yoga. Everybody. It's champagne yoga. Why wouldn't you show up? It's a lot of fun. Actually, I'll tell one more story about the champagne yoga. The first year after we had a wellness coach on board, her name is Selena, we have a meeting on board one of our ships. So it's our operations, our sales team, the owners. Well, one of the owners, Christine Karst, Rudy Schreiner's wife, gets up in front of all of us the first day with Selena and said, since I brought Selena with me, I expect to see all of you in at least one class. Not all of my colleagues work out. And there was a lot of reluctancy to join these classes, except for the morning that she offered champagne yoga. And the reason this was so funny is this was the day that Rudy and Christine were speaking at 9:30. You know what happens when you drink a lot of champagne at 7:30 in the morning? You start to take a nap around 9:30. So Rudy and Christine are in front of all of us talking, and everyone's going like this, just trying to stay awake watching. It was great. It's fun. So another area in this industry where we set ourselves apart on a very high level, it's going to be our shore excursions. We offer more included excursions than anybody else. And to give you an idea, it's more than 20 included excursions per 7-night sailing. And the way we're able to do that, every port you stop in, your main city tour actually gives you 3 levels of activity. We have a gentle walkers tour, regular pace walkers tour, and an active walkers tour. Our active walkers have become extremely popular, and it's because they do something a little different. They don't move faster, they take on more challenging tasks. And to give you an idea, we're looking at the city of Dürnstein right here. That hill in the back, at the very top, those are the ruins of the Burjuing Castle. This is where King Richard the Lionheart was held captive during his crusades. Our active walkers will hike up the stairs, which you can kind of see. They go back and forth up the hillside right there. So if you want to take that hike and go and explore those ruins, you can take that with our active walkers. If you don't want to take the hike, you can go into Dürnstein and drink apricot liqueur, or you can eat apricots soaked in liqueur. They have all kinds of great liqueurs made out of apricot in Dürnstein. Now, we do keep 25 bikes on each one of our European vessels. We have complimentary guided bike tours. Now, with our bike tours, we put a tour guide at the front of the group and the back of the group because we have a lot of avid bikers who cruise with us. But I think we have more people who used to be avid bikers a long, long time ago that cruise with us. So we have a tour guide to make sure that the people at the front of the group are well taken care of, and the people at the back of the group make it to the ship with the people who are at the front of the group. And we do provide helmets. Now, if you don't want to take a bike tour, if you're not feeling confident enough to join a group, or you just want to do your own thing, you can just grab a couple of bikes and go into town and stroll around and do your own thing. That's perfectly okay with us. So I'm going to circle back to more included excursions, and I'm going to talk about Vienna because it's I mentioned earlier, we give you a lot of choices in Vienna. When you wake up in the morning, you can take the city tour, choose your level of activity. Maybe you've been to Vienna before and you want to do something different, take our back alleys of Vienna, or take the cooking demonstration, or wine tasting, or art tour. All of these are included. You just have to choose which one you would like to take. Now, we like to give you choices for more than one reason. One, we do have a lot of guests who come with us who are very well traveled. And if you've been to some of these places before, it's nice to have options to do something different. On top of that, our groups are small. We have anywhere from 15 to 25 people per group. So if you like to connect with your tour guide and be able to communicate a little bit while you're traveling around with them, it's much more easy to do that with a smaller group than a large group. Now, something that we have become very popular for, and again, it's unique to us, we have wine-themed sellings. And the way these work, we bring winemakers from right here in the States over to Europe with us, and they do tastings, pairings, and lectures on board the ship with their own wines. On top of that, these winemakers were inspired by the wines on the river that you're going to cruise with them. So they're experts in these wines as well. So we take you to local vineyards and they take you through tastings there. But we also go to private cellars. And when I say private, I mean, you couldn't call and book a tour there. But since we have that relationship with them and our winemakers, we're able to take you to some really unique places and do tastings there as well. Now, outside of Europe, we do have some exotic destinations. This happens to be one of my favorite places in the world. I love Cambodia. It's such a special and beautiful place. The culture, the people, the food, absolutely amazing. Now, I will summarize this for you. Vietnam, Cambodia, and the riches of the Mekong is a 15-night trip. You start off with 2 nights in Hanoi. We go out onto Ha Long Bay for 1 evening. Then we go down to Siem Reap for 3 nights and explore temples. Take a 7-night cruise on our Alma, which is an all-twin balcony vessel, and then 2 nights post in Ho Chi Minh City. Now, when I tell you that we go spend the night on Ha Long Bay, we get one of these beautiful luxury junks, and you get to spend the evening out on one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. This is a peak highlight for majority of our guests who take this itinerary. The next highlight would be your 3 nights in Siem Reap. Siem Reap is a very special place, and there's so many temples to explore while you're in Siem Reap. We're looking at Angkor Wat right here. This is the largest religious monument in the world, built in the 12th century, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And what we do here is we do a sunrise trip to Angkor Wat. It's beautiful, and I know that time of year can kind of vary a little bit with the sunrise, but at the right time, the sun comes right up over the middle of it. I wasn't there for that the last couple times I was there, but hopefully one day I'll make it. Now, when I say that you're on an all-twin balcony stateroom vessel, the Amadara is stunning. Categories A, B, and C are 251 very spacious square feet. Now, Africa is one of the most popular things that we do. And the reason it's so popular is it's always sold out. It's sold out. The ship is small, 14 staterooms, all suites. We cruise the Chobe River in Namibia. Now, there's no ports on the Chobe River. So our goal is to just get you close to the animals. So we have these smaller boats. When we find the animals, we get you closer. If you're a photographer, be it professional, amateur, terrible, you're going to come back with beautiful and amazing pictures because of where you are. Now, we do have 2 of these smaller boats. What we do with them is, one, we will get you closer to the animals for experiences, photography, whatever you're looking for in it. But we will also take you fishing for tigerfish if you would like to do that as well. What you can't see on this small boat is that it is a fully stocked bar. If you want to go out and cruise around on the, you can do that, and you can have a few drinks at the same time. Now, I'm really looking forward to this. We start cruising in September of next year. Now, the full itinerary is 11 nights. You cannot just take a 7-night cruise. We have designed this so that it starts with 3 nights in Cairo and ends with a night in Cairo. It's just the easiest way to get you in and out and give you everything you want to see while you're in this part of the world. And we're cruising on the Amadalia. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to build a brand new vessel, but we were able to purchase one. And it was a 68 stateroom vessel. We have taken it down to the hull. We have completely gutted this ship, and it will be a 34 stateroom vessel with all of the luxuries and amenities that we offer in Europe. You'll have a chef's table, a fitness, wellness coach on board, your main dining room, a pool, fitness facilities. Again, it'll have everything you're going to find on our European vessels. Now, I don't have the slides in here. I will just add, I'm going to jump back a little bit. This, what we're looking at right now, this is the itinerary. We are going to offer an optional 4 nights pre in Jordan. Obviously, you go to Jordan to see Petra. That is going to be part of that pre-cruise optional tour. And we're going to have a 4-night post in Jerusalem. Now, I'd mentioned Cambodia is one of my favorite places in the world. Israel is my second favorite place in the world. And I'm not just saying that because my wife is Israeli. Israelis are fun. They're a great culture. And the trip that we do to Jerusalem, I found out, is completely unique to the tours that are offered for most people. One thing we do is we take a trip down to Mount Masada, right down to by the Dead Sea. This is the lowest point on earth that is not underwater. And we also will take our guests to go float in the Dead Sea. If you haven't been there, it's a must. Imagine the most intense soft water filter you have ever felt in your entire life. And when you're in that water, all you have to do is lift one leg up and your whole body goes horizontal because you're going to float. It is the coolest, weirdest thing that you'll ever experience, but it's fun. It's really special. And again, nobody else is offering that as an excursion with the trip there.
There's 2 pre and post, 4 days each.
Now, I have said highest rated a few times now, and I'm going to tell you where this comes from. Over the many years of being in this industry, one thing I've learned is when you see a publication saying #1 river cruise line, one of 2 things has happened here. Either someone just paid to put it there, or very clever marketing went into place. I like to use Berlitz as the marker for us because Berlitz is the only place that you cannot pay for a rating. You can't get a better rating by paying more because you don't even know they were on your ship. It's a secret shopper who, as far as I'm concerned, their job is way cooler than mine, and I love my job. But Berlitz has now come out with 3 river cruise editions, and each time 10 of our ships are the highest rated. It is an honor for us, and it's very prestigious to get these types of ratings from Berlitz because they have a great rating scale. If you haven't seen them, let me know. If you would like one of the Berlitz guides, let Heather know. I've got boxes of them sitting in my garage. I would be more than happy to send it to you. But I will tell you where our top 3 ratings come in order. It's our food, service, and amenities. And it just shows you we are consistent in how we operate. And I told you I would take questions at the end. I am ready for your questions. Please do not be shy. If you're thinking of something, ask me. Unmute yourself. I have given you the ability to do that. Am I that good? All right. Well, Heather, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, I just really thank everyone for coming. You know, whether you have questions now and want to ask them, or if you want to reach out to me directly, you know, that'd be fabulous. Yeah, we're here to help you in all ways. So I think one of the questions to the chat box was, what's the average age of our cruisers? And I want to say, I believe it's probably between, what, 45, maybe 50, up to 75? No, you think it's younger than that, Brandon?
55 plus.
Oh, 55 plus. Okay.
We have the youngest demographics in the industry because of all of our active things that we do on board and with our excursions. So industry-wide, it's about 65 plus, but we kind of broke that mold and we're about 55 plus. My wife and I have been cruising since she was still in her 20s. River cruising, it's interesting, is that there's this thought that it's for old people. Well, there are a lot of people who are retired actually just have the time to do it. So it has this this marker on it, but truthfully, river cruising is for everybody. On occasion, I'll see a teenager with their parents or grandparents. I even cruised with an 8-year-old who was probably one of the best guests on the entire ship last October. So we do allow families, but 55 plus is the average age.
And then one of the other questions from Susan is, do the rooms accommodate 3 people?
So categories AA and AB are 235 square feet, and there's a twin-size sofa bed in those staterooms. We can accommodate triples. The third person pays 75% of the per person rate. However, if you're traveling with 3 adults, you take a suite. Don't put yourself in a room that's that small. You will feel it.
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Brandon, I have a question. Susan actually asked my question, which is, can you put 3 people in a room? Because I have 3 people in my family.
Yes.
But, yeah, great question. My question is for you. What is your favorite meal that you've ever had on an Alma Waterways cruise?
Oh, wow.
I know, sorry.
You know, there's so many that are incredible, but the one that really kind of stood out for me, I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it was really special and unique. When I cruised the Rhone River in France, they offered frog legs for lunch one day. And I was kind of hit or miss. I was like, I'm sure it's going to taste amazing. And then I went over and I saw that they were cooking in this wonderful, like Alfredo type sauce. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to try this. Now, it's funny, if you haven't had frog legs before, they're tiny. I probably ate about 100 of them because they were so good. And it was one of those experiences. I'm there, they were serving it up, and you know, they wanted me to eat more. They kept giving it to me. I kept taking it. It was fantastic.
That's so funny. I love it. That's awesome. Thanks for answering. Heather, do you have an answer to that question?
You know, I do. And I think what was truly phenomenal, and I know you touched on it just a little bit, but what was amazing is truly each port or city that you're in, the chef for both lunch and dinner truly cater. And it took me a day or two. I mean, not that the food wasn't fabulous, but it took me a day or two to realize, wait, you're right. They are truly catering to that culture. And so like Brandon had frog legs. One of the nights they offered caviar, and it was like, oh my God. I mean, I've had caviar, but it was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
So I think I truly enjoyed that, the regions and the cultures. So that yes, you can go eat in the cities, but the chef prepares them phenomenal. I mean, and then the wine pairing. So what you have for lunch is not necessarily the same thing you're going to have for dinner. And just an amazing 5-star restaurant each night. It was crazy. It was crazy good.
It's like you're dining for a week.
Another question too. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
Susan said, how long are you in ports on the Danube?
So any river we cruise, you're in port. Sometimes we have to do 2 ports a day. Some of the towns we go to are small enough that your hour-and-a-half guided tour and your hour-and-a-half of free time is more than enough.
Right.
They're very small, so we do move on to another one. But once we get to that port, we spend the entire day there and the night. With river cruising, you can actually get off the ship at night and go and experience the culture of those places during nighttime, which sometimes you get some of the most amazing experiences evenings off the ship. So some of the ports where you wake up there in the morning, you take your tour, you're back on the ship eating lunch, and then you go off to another port, but that's where we stay for the evening. And then the big cities like Vienna, Budapest, we're there all day long. Yeah. We don't leave until the next day or while you're sleeping.
So that kind